All right, how's everybody doing? We're gonna do a little Sarthe lap guide right here. Okay, so starting out, beginning of the lap. Okay, you want to just slow the car down. Don't come in here full speed. You don't want a lot of stress on the car. You want to set the car up so that you have a nice clean exit and you're carrying all your speed, as much speed as possible. So I come in nice and slow, set the car up to the left. Don't take this first or the second curb aggressively and line the car up so you're mostly straight for the exit. You're not giving it a lot of steering input. It's just lined up, right? So I'm almost full throttle. My steering's mostly straight. The car's square. All right, I cut this curb a little bit and I split it. Right, get my left side tires on the curb. Okay, and then I come back off the curb and line myself up straight on the road to brake before the first braking board. Okay, so right here, I'm braking a little bit before here, probably like about here, just to make sure I stop. And then as you slow down and you start to approach the corner in like second gear, then you start leading the car in so that you can cut this corner without having to put too much G-force on the car. So like the number one thing this thing struggles with is if you put too much G-force on the car, it just won't turn. There's not enough downforce on it like a Group 2 to turn that aggressively. So you're going to get understeer the second you give it too much steering input, and you'll start to fight the car. It happens on entry and on exit. Even in the middle of the corner when you're not on the throttle. If you turn excessively, you're still going to understeer. Okay, so right side tires, first curb. Keep the car to the left. Try to carry some momentum so you don't come to a complete stop in the middle of these two corners. Because you want to have some RPM so on the exit, you don't have to accelerate as aggressively as quickly, right? You want to take your time accelerating out of here because you're going up a hill, you're coming out of a corner, and you want the car to stay square as you come out, right? So I stay to the left as much as I can, set it up, cut this corner, put your left side tires on the inside curb, right? And here I just want to focus on getting my wheels straight while pointing the car as straight as possible for the exit. So I don't want to like straighten out my car or straighten out my wheel while I'm still halfway through the corner. And I haven't finished the corner and lined the car up to go full throttle. You want to line the car up for that exit so that when you get full throttle, you just go straight. It propels the car forward with like maybe a little bit of understeer as you're going forward. But it shouldn't feel like you're fighting the car on exit and you have to turn really hard because all you're going to do is oversteer. All right, so on the exit, you line your right side tires up with this exit curb and put the left side of your car right here and just keep it as straight as possible all the way down. I don't even come off the curb until like the end of it. And then I still keep my left side tires on the left side of the line right here and then put them on this curb. I even put them on the left side of that curb. All right, then I stay a little bit tight here because right after this curb, I'm going to stay to the right. And I'm going to shave off milliseconds by staying to the inside here and almost hitting these little red arrows on the right side. Okay. Now, instead of coming in here wide and then turning aggressively, trying to cut the car back to the right, I'm already set up on the right side and I've just taken a tighter line. So when I come in here, the car's a lot more square to the right side of the road because I haven't come in here with a lot of steering input. Right? A lot of people come through here and they understeer. And then when they get to this part of the corner to brake, they're transferring their weight to the right side of the car and then wonder why when they get up to here, with light steering, as they've been braking this whole time, when they try to trail brake, the car just sails to the outside. And it's because they started turning way, way, way back here, and their steering wheel wasn't straight when they started braking. Right? So right here, I'm still turning a little bit, but I straighten out my wheel, and I balance out the weight. Right? And then slow the car down enough so it gets to the inside of the corner, and you can get on the throttle in the middle of the corner, because it's all about exit speed. So I get on the curb as much as I can. I mean, I can't get on the curb much more than that without just driving on the grass. All right, so right about here, I'm already full throttle. All right, and I want to try to stay full throttle through here, and I want to cut this curb right after this pylon. Right after that pylon, I want to at least split this white line on the right side. Okay, as you go through this dip right here, after the curb, the car's going to want to understeer, and you have to anticipate it. And if you don't anticipate it and realize that you're understeering at this point in the corner, you're going to end up in that wall right there. Right, I have to lift a little bit. I had to lift a little bit on exit. Right, just a little bit in the middle of the corner, just to let it rotate. Okay, now fourth gear. Let's brake on the outside, nice and light. Okay, I'm going to go slow, so you see how much I brake. Okay, this is all I'm braking. I'm not going crazy on the brake pedal. I'm not braking hard. Just a light dab of the brake. A little bit more. Right? Come back off. And roll. Okay, you got to carry a little bit of speed into here still. And just roll through the middle of the corner. If you go full throttle too early through this corner, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you turn, you're just going to end up taking a penalty and understeer because you locked the differential too soon. So you need to come in here wide, cut in, put your left side tires on the inside curb, let it rotate a little bit, and then ease to full throttle, and the car won't push really heavily on exit. You won't get a lot of understeer. It should just naturally come out to this curb without it feeling like, oh shit, I have to lift. If you have to lift anywhere like around this point in the corner and you're having to lift off full throttle, you're screwed. You're just screwed. You know how long this straightaway is? You want to go for, should we take walk mode and just see how long it is? You want to know how far this fucking straightaway is? Too long. Too long for you to be lifting anywhere near this curb. Period. It just shouldn't happen. You'll lose at least a tenth or more. Just in straightaway time. Just by having to lift just slightly, right about here. Probably more than that, though. Okay? And I'm not even bringing my right side tires onto the exit curb. I'm not even risking it that much. I could still get more out of this lap. Right? I just took it easy. You want to make sure. Okay, so your window to stay on that curb is where it ends. So right here, you can stay on this curb with your right-hand tires until you get to this part. As soon as you get to this part, you better be on the right side of this line with your right-hand tires. Right? Just right here. All you got to do is go on the line at this part of the curb, and you won't take a penalty. So, like, that's your limit. You can put your right side tire all the way on the edge of this curb, and then drive straight for a little bit, and then come off the curb. But you don't want to have too much understeer on the car when you do it, because you're just going to scrub off speed anyways. All right, another thing, shift points in this thing. If you're using kilometers an hour, second gear, you shift at like 170 kilometers an hour to 173, 175. Okay, third gear, you shift that, let's see here, 245-ish, 240 to 245 from third to fourth. Then fourth gear is 310, 311. It'll go up to 313, but if you do it through that corner right there, it'll bounce off the rear limiter. I cut this slightly here. You can cut this just a little bit, right? Every little bit of shortening the track matters. Rather than being over here and like the middle, or you know what I mean, being to the left of this white line, I just try to get a little bit more by being over here. All right. Get as close to this wall as humanly possible. Okay? Get as close as you can to this wall as humanly possible with very little steering. Just gently lead the car close to the wall. All right, braking. Turn the car in a little bit while you're still on the throttle. You want to point the car before you brake. So you come in, you point the car, you square it up, and you brake straight. As straight as possible. With very, very, very little steering, if any. If you come in, a little bit of a safer way to take this corner is to stay out a little bit wider, right? And look at the corner like this. See how it just lines up with the left-hand line? Okay, so what you do is you point the car straight from here and just graze this curb as you brake in a straight line. Right? And then as you get to this point in the track, you'll be able to straighten out your wheel and brake straighter through third, second, down to first gear. And then as you come off the brakes in first gear, you lead the car in nice and gently, smooth steering, and then you short shift to second, and then ease on the throttle. Then you want to do the same thing where you get the car as straight and square as possible for the exit, and then you put your right-hand tires on this curb as like your limit. Okay, so I sweep back out. Down to second, down to first. Slow, smooth steering. Slow, smooth off the brakes, right? Just roll. Get to second, start easing on the throttle nice and gently. I'm not using like excessive steering, right? As soon as I start to go to half throttle, I'm straightening out my wheel, right? As I use to full throttle, my wheel goes straight. I get a little bit of tire spin, but it goes straight. It's all just forward momentum. That 170, that 240, shift that 310. Cut these curbs for the same reason, just save a couple tenths. Right? It's not a couple tenths, it's a lot less than that, but you know, short assistance. Okay, you line the car up on the left side of the track. Don't go way over on this green stuff. You don't need it. Okay, what you want to focus on is you want to focus on this banking and the inside curb. Because when you come in here, you want to use the banking to turn the car as you come in, to help you turn, to set the car up straight so you can brake. Alright, so still full throttle, till about the end of this curve. Close to the end of it, I start letting off. Alright, take some of the stress off the car and the G-force off the left side of the car. So I'm straight when I brake. Alright, just ease on the brakes. Alright, I'm not even done turning to the right. And I'm already braking fully. Right, because the slower you go into this corner, the better the setup you'll have. If you come in there with way too much speed, you're just going to understeer. Right? Don't outbrake yourself. Come in, you got to be mindful that you're transferring weight from the left side of the car to the right side of the car when you go into this corner. Right? So you have to level out the weight, resist steering. Okay? Look at the steering. Look how long I brake with my steering dead straight, basically. Right? I would call this straight. Yeah, it's a little bit to the right, but it's still straight. Okay? Still braking straight. Still braking straight. Right? Now as I come to this curb, then I start leading the car in with the banking. Right? I'm just leading the car in with the bank to get down to this inside curb. But I'm not steering 90 degrees. I'm not turning super heavy. I'm just leading the car in. Right? And then as I'm coming off the brakes, I lean into my steering because the tire threshold will allow it. Right? You don't want to turn too soon before the tire threshold allows it while you're braking, because you're just going to go straight. Wait until the car's slowed down enough, and it'll handle what you're going to put it through into the corner. Right? Use that exit curve. You come in, you're going to stay to the right, posture up for the corner. Right? Roll in second. Use this exit curb, but don't turn super heavy. Okay, don't come into here and just turn the wheel harder and think you're going to drive out of here like you're in a Supra in Group 3s, because you're going to go around. Period. You're just going to go around. Okay, keep turning. Turn steady while you're off the throttle. And then as you ease on the throttle, that's when you want to start straightening out the wheel. And make sure you're pretty much straight right around here. And then just use this curb and drive straight off of it. Use it until the end of it, then get across the track. Okay, braking board right here on the left. 50 board. You guys don't know this exists. It exists. I know there's plenty of people that don't know this fucking thing is here. But it's here, and it's where you're supposed to stop. So if you're stopping later than this and plowing into people, look for this fucking board, please. Thank you. You will save everybody a bunch of headache for the rest of the fucking week if you just look for this board. Alright, let's see exactly when I brake. It's a little bit before it, probably. Yeah. So I'm braking this far before the 50 board. There's people that are braking at the 50 board. Or after the 50 board. And they have cars in front of them. And they wonder why they punt people. Right? Just ease on the brakes. Ease off slowly, get down to first gear. You want to make sure there's not too much G-force on the car. You want to slow down a little bit early, right? As you get into first, be really gentle coming off the brakes and gentle with your steering, right? You just want to lead it in. So there's not a lot of G-force on the car. It just wants to lead in gently, right? And then as you get on this curb, this is when you're going to get your little bit of oversteer and you need to short shift, right? So I short shift a second, start easing on the throttle. Now I want to drive the car as straight as possible out to this exit curb. So I just want to keep my steering that I have right now, rotate the car just a few more fucking degrees, and then basically ease to full throttle and straighten on my wheel all the way. Okay? So we're going to let it turn a little bit more, right? Quarter throttle, just chilling, be patient, patience, okay? The second my hands move, what does my right foot do, right? My hand twitched. It started going straight, and my right foot went up about half, or about a quarter throttle. Okay, watch my hands, watch my throttle, right? Hands throttle. Hands straighten out, right? Patient. Patience. Patience. Oh, we're over half now. Yep, a little bit less. Coming off a 90-degree steering. Almost three-quarter throttle. About 55 degrees. 45. 45, you still cannot go full throttle. Do not try. You will go around. You have to be like 10, 15 degrees steering. Okay, still three-quarter throttle. Still three-quarter throttle. Respect the car. Okay? Now we're pretty much flush with the curb almost, right? My steering's less than 45. Mostly straight. I'm at three-quarter throttle. Three quarters. Still need a little bit of steering. Easing to 7/8. Okay. And then here I go full. Right? That's my wheel straightens out all the way. And it's also because I'm anticipating that tire spin. Alright, so again, this corner, understeer. Do not come in here too fast, too hard, and just try to brake really hard and turn the crap out of the car, because it will never work in a million years. The harder you turn through this corner, the slower you're going to be. We're not turning super aggressively. We want the car to kind of float here. Okay? So just line it up on the left side, pretty much flush with the green stuff. Okay, downshift to fourth from fifth gear on the outside of the track. Lead the car in gently with gentle braking, gentle steering. Right? You're just guiding the car into the corner right here. Guiding the car into the corner. Guide it in, right? Just slow it down nice and gently. Turn gently. Okay? You get to the inside of the corner. Okay, now we can use the gas pedal. Because we're hitting the apex. Right? Just slight throttle. I'm still rolling a little bit. I'm just maintaining speed with that throttle. Right? Just holding 220. Now I go to full throttle once I make sure the car is going to keep turning. Stay to the right. I don't let the car go super far to the left. I make sure I'm set up and I stay to the right and stay on that inside curb. Right? Because when I transfer the weight here, I don't want to have to transfer the weight excessively and then ask way too much from the right side tires going into this corner because we're going full blast and we're flat out and we want to lift as little as possible. So you have to think of how locked the differential is and its ability to steer when you're full throttle. So it's only going to steer a maximum amount of angle through a corner while you're flat going through consecutive corners, right? Imagine S curves, right? And pretend they're like a spring and you can shorten it and long it and squish them together and make them tighter, like little fucking U-turns, okay? How how short can you make that before you no longer stay on the track and you're just gonna go over grass constantly in between corners? It's the same thing here. You try to stay as full throttle as possible. I still cut the grass a little bit, and then I had to lift on exit because I got close to the wall. All right, so down to fourth, roll it in. Don't full brake. Okay, try to stay full throttle here. Just lead the car in, same thing. Don't turn super hard or late and try to get the car to cut in like it's an F1 car because it does not have downforce. It does not have downforce. I'll say that again. You see this? This is not a wing, okay? This is just a piece of metal that's sitting there looking pretty, but it does nothing, okay? You see these things? These do nothing, okay? They do absolutely nothing. You see this? This lip on the front? This does nothing. Look how round that is. Do you see anything that's going to grab air on this car? Not at all. Nothing. Nope. This thing is shaped like a bullet and to go straight. It is not designed to turn at all. So you're requiring mechanical grip. This is what you turn with. Just in case you didn't know. This is what you're turning with. So if you exceed the tire threshold, it's just not going to turn. This doesn't matter. This does. Alright, so a slight lift through that corner. They try to stay full throttle here. A little lift on the entry. Cut this grass a little bit as you come in. Yes, I said cut the grass. Put your left tire on this grass before this curb. Because I said so. Why? Because that's what I do. Then you stay on the curb. Stay to the left a little bit. Okay, you're going to brake early. Brake before the corner, not when you get halfway into it. So brake a little bit right here. Right? Just gently lead the car in. Slow it down. You can't turn heavy. Right? You just have to gradually slow the car down through this corner and stay tight to the inside while doing it. So you have to turn it a little bit early. And just roll it through. Right? Just patience. Steady trail braking. Gets down to like 210, 200, and then I go to third as I start easing on the throttle in fourth gear. Right? And then another lift. Posture up on the right side of the track, stay to the right, and all you're going to do is gently brake into this corner and lead the car in again. Right? Then you can cut this curb and get on the grass. And put your right side tires on this inside curb. And just cut it like crazy. Alright, then you're going to come out here. Okay, your track limit for this exit, I didn't really use it. But, if you carry a little bit more speed, you end up with your right side tires, or your left side tires on this curb. And then you have to bring your left side tires back on the left side of the white line by the end of it. Okay, so here, split the white line. Get on the curb. Get on the curb again. Split the white line. Stay a little bit tight, right? And then come to the right side of the track. Line it up in the pit lane. Stay to the right. Right side tires, just right on the white line or just to the left of it. Okay, you're going to come in straight here. Right before this pit lane dotted line ends, you're going to brake. And you're going to start turning, but you're not going to full brake. Just enough. Brake just enough, and you don't want to turn super heavy. You just want to lead the car in here, and especially when you get to this curb, if you turn heavy right here and whip the car into the corner, when you get to this part, as you come over this curb, you have to straighten out your wheel. Because if you try to turn, like say you come in and you lead the car a little bit, but then you realize you're not lined up properly for the corner, and then you try to turn extra as you come over this curb. Like, oh shit. Well, all that's going to do is make you hop this curb and not grip as you come over it. So you need to make sure that as you turn in, you don't give it too much steering going over to this curb part and line it up so that it basically just lands on the other side of the curb with full grip on the tire because of balance. Right? So you just come in here nice and balanced. You lead it in, cut, jump. But where I pretty much turn in is right after this. Right after this ends is where you're going to want to turn in and come across the curb. And you also don't want to try to point yourself too far to the left. Because if you come in here too far pointed left, you're going to have to turn extra to go to the right. So you want to come in, lead the car in a little bit. Try to get your left side tires on this curb, or at least, if not your right side tires almost. Right, I just split it. Okay, then I hold the car to the left, cut back to the right, put my left side tires on this curb. Right, and then this lines me up for the right side of the track. As I come out of here, slow down a little bit more for this tight one. Short shift to second. Keep turning to the right a little bit. Give it a little bit of throttle just so the car doesn't twitch as I go over the curb. And last corner, square, lateral grip, straighten it out as much as possible. The hop, just roll it in, roll it in. Nice and smooth. 7.6. So you're fine to turn like 90 degrees. So I'm turning hard here, but I'm not really on the throttle, and I'm just lightly trail braking. There's not a lot of G-force on the car, so I can turn this much. Alright, same thing here. You got to turn in with a little bit of steering to like 90 degrees while you're trail braking. Alright, then same thing here. When you're going over this curb, before you actually ease on the throttle, you need to turn a little bit aggressively. Right, to like 90 degrees. Then as you come off the curb, straighten out your wheel. Yeah, guys, hope that helps. Driving the Nissan. not bad in between Pigeony and Windfire. Danny, McCordy. Yeah, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.